Hello Aquarius, how are you? Welcome to your December 2017 reading. Thank you for being here. My name is Jane. I'm coming to you from my grandfather's hobby shop in Idaho, which is why I have all of the planes and everything in the background. Good to be home in the States for a couple months for the holidays. Let's begin, all right? Huge transit happening from Saturn, moving from Sagittarius into Capricorn. We've been talking about it all year. And this is a big deal for you, all right? Because this is happening in your house of subconscious. Now, when we have Saturn moving into a subconscious, into the 12th house, there can be a great fear of letting other people in. You know, I think Sagittarius got the brunt of a lot of stuff this year. Sagittarius and Capricorn, and now I think it's moving from Capricorn and Aquarius. And you're kind of going to be on the docket for the next couple of years, all right? Because this is a huge learning experience opportunity for you. A huge opportunity for you to develop your true belief system and for you to come in contact with depths of yourself that you probably didn't ever really know existed. And for an Aquarian who's very cerebral, this is forcing you to get in touch with your spirituality. There can be a fear of letting other people in, of letting your vulnerability out. And unfortunately, Saturn is going to kind of push you to certain limits. Now, it can be probably some of the most momentous experiments of your lifetime that really can shape who you are and where you're going if you handle it in a mature way. Immature handling of this type of a transit can send people into very dark places. So just be prepared, be ready, and it's best to be optimistic about this because Saturn doesn't like pessimism and it also doesn't like excessiveness, all right? So it's not a dramatic planet. It's more about function and form, okay? Function over form. And that's going to be an important thing for you to keep at the top of your mind, and I will continually bring it up in your readings, I am sure. Now, we also have Venus transiting from Scorpio into Sagittarius, which is a very light-hearted place for you. It's in your natural house, your 11th house. And I think on the social side, on the business networking side, on the side of your hopes and your dreams and your wishes and just overall gains, I think you're going to get a good break this month and things will be doing well. And I think that there will be a sense of optimism and even like bubbliness, or I've been using the word buoyancy. So it's a great and exciting time for you to connect with those that maybe it's time for you to connect with. And I personally like this position for Venus because it's where my own Venus is located in the 11th house. So, also a fire sign, mine's in Leo though. So anyway, I will let you guys go with that. Thank you so much for being here and I will see you next month. Bye. Hello Aquarius, how are you? Welcome to your December 2017 reading. Thank you so much for being here. I am using a new deck this month. I called it the Bali Edition. It's a deck that I designed, or just pictures of my Bali trip pretty much. It's not for sale at this time, so just kind of a one-of-a-kind type of thing. But let's go ahead and just dive in. Hopefully it speaks to you. It does certainly speak to me. Aquarius. Eight of Swords. Excuse me. Well, what is trapping you, Aquarius? Where is your mind at? What's going on? This can be a little bit of a difficult card because sometimes we don't know that we're feeling trapped, right? Sometimes we don't know that we're feeling or that we're not really able to see things other than the way we want to see them. Now, for an Aquarian, which is very open-minded, which is very known for their ability to be creative in terms of solutions, right? And in terms of thinking, this can be a difficult place. It's your own little mental prison, and an Aquarian certainly does not like to be restricted, especially mentally, right? So let's pull some more cards. That's kind of a tough beginning, and it can make us feel trapped. We don't know what to do. We don't know how to go about doing it. Those types of things. and the Eight of Cups. Leaving something behind, moving on. Interesting, huh? Interesting for me. I feel like you have a destination in mind. You have a place that you want to go. You have this idea, this ideal outcome. And you are actively moving in that direction, but yet not seeing how you're going to get there. Maybe some of you are operating in blind faith. Some of you may be getting over a breakup, right? A relationship, and you are perhaps having a difficult time picturing yourself with someone else, or picturing yourself being happy with someone else, and yet you have faith that you will. The number 8s are associated with the 8 in the major arcana, which is the Strength card. Okay? And these do require strength. Strength to break free from your mental prison, and strength to search out more. Because a lot of times we're leaving things that are familiar, things we understand, things that are comfortable, even if they might be painful. We leave them behind because we know that we demand more of ourselves. Okay? And it can be hard, and it requires patience, and it requires willpower, and it requires faith. And faith requires strength of spirit. And the Devil. This is the one card in the deck that I put a lot of thought into, and I knew I was going to have to explain it. So let me explain it. Death, I chose kind of a reflection, you know, a choppy reflection, a reflection that is quite distorted. Now, I operate under the idea that the devil is a representative of the concept as above, so below. Now, we could talk all day long about what that concept means, but we don't have time for that. So I feel that as much as a mirror reflects, you know, when we're doing our makeup in the morning or our hair or getting dressed, there is no question that that mirror in front of us is reflecting back to us what we actually look like, right? It reflects back to us a physical representation. But if we were to look at the world around us, our circumstances, the people in our lives, it will reflect back to us in the same way. Our soul, who we are as a human being, right? Now, people can say it's the law of attraction, nonsense, whatever, but I have personally found that to be very true. And so sometimes it's very hard. It's a reflection that we can't really get away from. We might not always want to get away from it because we enjoy it, we're happy there, but it is a reflection that is unavoidable. And sometimes our physical world feels restrictive, it feels frustrating, it gives us crappy stuff to deal with because it is a reflection of what's going on in our minds and in our hearts. And here you have the Eight of Swords. You know, that mental prison can be reflected back to you in like almost a seemingly physical prison, right? Circumstances you have a difficult time getting out of or whatever. Right? And the devil can be dark, it can be very sour, it can be very challenging. And it can represent someone in our life that is that way as well. You know, it's the representative of the sign of Capricorn. We have Saturn moving back into Capricorn as per Western astrology, not Vedic, okay? But Western astrologers, we're all very excited about this transit because Saturn is coming back home, you know, and it's almost like things will finally get to be in order, right? And so there could be some aspects of that going on. Let's see what else comes out here. And the Six of Cups. Six of Cups being a card of innocence, a card of love, a card of nostalgia. Some of you may have a connection coming back from your past, or you may find yourself in kind of a karmic place. Saturn is also, you know, this is also a card of karma as well. It can be good or bad. It doesn't have to be bad just because it can be, but it doesn't have to be. Getting what you truly deserve. Some of you may have love interests from the past coming back. Some of you may have thoughts or feelings or emotions or feelings of fondness towards someone in the past. Now, be careful that that past connection isn't really restricting your movement, right? Or any progress that you've been making in terms of moving away from something. But I like the Six of Cups. I feel that it is associated with purity and goodness, okay? And that there is no negative intentions. And a Queen of Cups. Now, this is a card of Cancer, okay? Let me think on this for a moment. The reason why I'm thinking on it is I don't think that it's you. I feel that there's someone else, that this is representative of someone else. And I don't know if this is someone you're trying to get away from or someone you're trying to move toward, or someone that you just are in general confused about, someone that may have caused pain or something like that, that caused the devil situation. Queen of Cups, let's talk about her for a moment, just separately and generically, okay, separately from the reading. Queen of Cups is often someone that is very emotional, someone that's very caring and maternal or paternal, depending male or female, someone that is very much dedicated toward the care and upkeep of the home, right? We're talking about Cancer, someone who is very intuitive and highly spiritual as well, someone that is very in tune with other realms, or someone that is very in tune with you and your emotions, okay? I'm getting both good and bad vibes from this person, and I'm not quite sure why. Why am I getting both good and bad vibes? Because I think the bad vibes is coming from fear. I'm wondering if you aren't creating your own devil situation. You're not creating your own restrictiveness, right? Because of this Eight of Swords coming out first. I don't necessarily know if she's like the cause, or if this person, male or female, is the cause of you feeling so confined. But there could be some threat to your freedom with this person, and maybe that's a little bit scary for you. I don't know. Let's see. I don't know why it's not coming out clear. Maybe just because some of you just have very different circumstances, right? Sometimes this is someone that you want to be with, right? Or maybe this is someone that you were trying to get away from, right? Maybe I'm really dealing with a group of people that have both going on. Three of Wands. Three of Wands is, I often see it as someone waiting for things to come to them, waiting for things to unfold. You may be kind of taking on this, like, let's wait and see what happens before I make any major decisions. Maybe this person, because of the connection with the cups, right, is someone coming from the past. Maybe it is someone that you were trying to move away from, or maybe it's someone that you weren't even really thinking about as you were on your life's journey, and somehow they kind of came back up into your life, and now you're kind of like, okay, well, let me just see, and what does this mean for me? Let's wait and see. Three of Wands. But I'll tell you one thing. You may need to wait and see what goes on. You might need to wait and see how the situation unfolds, and that's perfectly fine and usually recommended, right? Go with the flow is what I always say. But I do feel that your sense of curiosity is piqued, right? Because when you're standing on the edge of a mountain and you are looking out over the horizon, there's curiosity about what's over there. What's over there? Who is this person? How is this person? What are they thinking? And again, the Queen of Cups is often someone very, very connected with you. Or she could represent sort of a spiritual channel between you and someone else, right? She might not even be a person. She might just represent spirituality, period, just plain and simple. And the spiritual connection that you share with someone. And this can get a little bit creepy sometimes, I think, right? It can be a little confusing. And be like, how can this person read me so well? And how can I read them so well? And how do I just feel so at home? And again, like, I'm wondering if some of you are feeling like your independence or your sense of self is being a little bit compromised, or you're afraid that it could be compromised because you're dealing with someone with whom you could actually dedicate your whole life to, right? And you're kind of looking at this as a big picture type of thing. Maybe some of your demons have crept back. Some of the things that have caused relationships to go sour in the past are maybe resurfacing, and those tendencies are now coming out. But maybe this person might represent an opportunity for you to be liberated from those things. Now, I don't know for sure. It's going to speak to you differently, but I do feel that there's this threat to how you've always done things. But your curiosity is piqued. You're looking, you're observing. You might even be standing from afar, standing as a bystander almost, a bystander of your own life, and almost not even feel, I don't want to say connected, because there's definitely a connection happening. I don't know, there's just this, I don't know where I was going with that. Let me just keep moving. I'm just getting a lot of stuff going on in my mind right now, so I'm not sure. It's not like converting into words. Is there a level of unattainability here with this person for some of you too? Right? Because it's almost as though here you are as this bird looking, calling out, you know, singing to this person, yet she's kind of in her own world. Like, this person might be feeding back to you some of that unavailability. Now, I know not all Aquarians are the same, so I apologize for lumping you guys all in. But Aquarians are stereotyped for being, you know, like an emotionally difficult to have. Right? You're a difficult sign to commit. Aquarius and Sagittarius and Capricorn, like, those are the ones that are more problematic in the commitment department. Not saying you're not capable of it, but you're highly selective, right? And it's like, you don't want to just commit to just anybody. It's got to be someone really, really special. And I'm wondering if you found someone, right? You found someone that is vastly different from you and is intriguing to you because they operate in a manner that is so different. And the Six of Swords. There's so much movement happening. And even though the Six of Cups, I did do a little bit of a different kind of representation here. But, you know, I think that there is change occurring in your life at this very moment. You are going with the flow, even though you are still waiting to see what comes to you. It's not as though you're standing stagnant and you're doing absolutely nothing, right? The Six of Swords represents, you know, spiritual growth, spiritual evolution. And, but you learn from your mistakes from the past. And when you move into this quote unquote new chapter of yours, All those past experiences come with you and hopefully make you a stronger and wiser person. And so that's kind of what I'm wondering with this devil is, are you kind of having to face that there are certain things resurfacing, you know, certain bad habits or certain behaviors that have prevented a relationship to grow in the past, and that's your natural tendency, but yet you've grown so much from past experiences that you're aware of that, and you're fighting that tendency and trying to do things different this time. Now, again, I think that not all of you are dealing with that. This is a very choppy reading for me, but I think you are headed in the right direction. Whatever it is you're doing, this is someone very special. And this is someone that will put you in touch with a deeper part of yourself. Someone with whom you can have a very deep and meaningful experience. Now, this is someone that is also very much their own person. You know, I see kings and queens of all suits as being highly independent people. People that are not codependent on others, and people that are very well-rounded, especially when they're in their element, doing their thing, right? Doing what they do best. Some of you might not even, like, I'm even getting a vibe like you don't want to interrupt them, is what came to my mind. You don't want to interrupt them. You don't want to interrupt their life. You might be kind of watching them from afar and just like there's like this weird observing nature with this reading. You're observing a lot of things with this person while simultaneously going through growth and transition in your own life. And the Five of Cups. This is a card of sorrow and sadness, looking back from the past. Some of you may be looking back on your past and feeling connected. There's definitely past elements here. Past loves, past lovers. Reminiscing for some of you. But you can't fight the forces around you, because you could very easily sabotage something, I believe. The forces around you are trying to get you to move forward, right? They're piquing your interest with new and interesting landscapes. They're taking you to new beaches, to new places, okay? And yet you're kind of stuck. This middle column, I'm concerned. I'm concerned here. It's kind of separating the reading into like three very distinct columns. Okay? And the middle one is kind of like what's preventing you from exploring and what's preventing you from delving into something new and something exciting. Be careful that you're not holding yourself back. Now, a Five of Cups is hard. Anyone, whether you're an Aquarius, a Pisces, a Cancer, a Leo, whatever, totally doesn't matter. But when we have a Five of Cups in our cards, it does indicate having a difficult time moving away from the past, having a difficult time stopping feeling something that we don't want to feel, being hung up on something or longing for something. You can't just make that go away. But I am afraid that it might be sabotaging something really positive if you don't. putting you in this trapped position. Some of you are not quite healed from something in the past, and you're not quite ready to move into the future in spite of how much you want to. And I think you do want to. I think there's something lovely, and I think there's something beautiful for you if you can just get there. And justice. I don't know how many of you are familiar with The Great Gatsby, but there was that, billboard with, I never saw the movies, but I read the book, with the eye doctor advertisement, and the eyes kind of sort of acted like the eyes of God. And I was like, oh, that's such a cool concept. And then I saw this, I was like, oh, that has to be my justice card, 100%. It's that cold, hard stare of objectivity and truth. Right? You can't fight the forces of life. You can't fight the forces of rhythm. You can't fight the forces of duality, right? And everything has a dual nature, and that's even kind of the devil as well. You can't escape the natural laws of the universe. And I do feel like you are coming in contact with your own duality, knowing that it's time to move on, and yet still longing for something from the past or whatever. And you are sort of left paralyzed, rendered unable and incapable of forward motion. Even though you are, it might not feel that way. Some of you may be sabotaging something as well, so be careful of that. I want to tell you how important it is to have faith of transitions. Now, depending on how old you are, some of you have more experience with this than others. People who are younger, just they're newer, but people who are older, it's like, okay, I've been through this before. I understand this process. I just got to wait it out. You don't want to let this person go. Okay, I feel that this is someone that, or this connection, if this is a person or not, this is certainly a connection. And she, this Queen of Cups, male or female though, is someone that can truly balance those scales, the scales of justice, your scales, you and someone else, the masculine and feminine. Your card of tarot is the King of Swords, and Queen of Cups is kind of like almost like an exact opposite for you. Kind of bringing in the deep femininity versus your deep masculinity. Not calling you guys masculine people, whether if you're a woman. I'm not saying you're masculine. I'm saying that you represent the masculine side of the yin yang, because air signs are masculine, water is feminine, right? You guys know what I mean? Hopefully you guys get what I mean. And the Queen of Pentacles. This is a card, an earth sign, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. It's the card of Capricorn. Also a feminine energy. Page of Swords. And death. Yeah, devil and death and justice. It's not the easiest reading for you guys, okay? It's really not. But the thing with this death card that I spend a lot of time thinking about is the flowers. Everything might look gray, everything might look silver. That's you just being trapped, right? But there is still life, and I'm not saying all of you are like in this deep, dark pit of despair. That's totally not what I'm saying. But sometimes we just can't see our way out as much as we want to get out. I don't know, you guys. I don't really see your energy here. I feel like this is the same person. They're on their own. Like, they're totally doing their thing. They are in their productive mode. They're moving. They're changing their life. They are totally like in their zone. And I'm wondering if you're just like, man, like I used to be in my zone. I need to get into my zone. There's also a lot of introspection going on here as well. Page of Swords, she's often a messenger of, you know, someone who's excited about life, and it gives you an opportunity to learn something new. I see my Page of Swords as my student, right? Someone that's curious about the unknown, someone, she's like a little Australian girl. It's like, oh, she's so cute, you know. And she was just like running around and just like asking questions about everything. And mom, what's this? And mom, how do we do that? And mom, I want to ride one of these scooters. And just like one thing after the next, after the next. And that was like, she's my perfect Page of Swords. You know, she's the one that wants to know and gather information. And she's also the one that's happy to bring information to someone else. Like, hey mom, look what I just found. Hey mom, you know, that kind of thing. And I feel that this Page of Swords is sort of an exchange, right? Or like almost like a marketplace kind of thing for you to receive and for you to give information. So I don't see that communication is shut down. Like if this is someone that you're trying to have a relationship with, or you're trying to maintain a connection with, and your past is kind of bogging you down, it's kind of like you're having a hard time moving into something with this person, don't stress, you guys. I think this person, because of their deep connection and their deep spirituality, they're very much aware of what you're going through. This person's not going to go anywhere as long as they feel safe to stay in your life. Okay, this person's not going to go anywhere as long as they feel safe to stay in your life. So this Page of Swords, you need to communicate with them. Hey, I'm just going through something. I'm dealing with this. I know you have your own life going on, and that's fine. But I want you to stay in my life. And you can be selfish about it too, right? Like it's not like you... This is an instance where I think you can have your cake and eat it too, as long as you're not participating with more than one person and this person doesn't know about it, right? If you're like talking about any kind of deception or lying, then it probably won't work out. But if you're like, hey, I'm just going through an emotional time. I'm going through a deep transformation, as represented by the Death card. I'm rebuilding myself. I'm reinventing myself. I'm really trying to move away from some things that have really been bothering me. I'm trying to grow from these things, and I'm still in that transitory phase. This person is totally going to get it. Like, they're not going to judge you for it. They're going to accept it, and they're just going to be like, okay, well, I'll be here when you're ready. But you need to communicate that to them. Otherwise, they're just going to drift off. They're just going to disappear and dissolve into the background of your life. Because these are not fighting energies, right? Like Queen of Swords, Queen of Wands, yeah, those are fighters. Those are the masculine polarities. These are the feminine polarities, and they're not necessarily ones to like be like, well, I'm gonna fight and I'm gonna work really hard. Like, no, like if you want me to be in your life, I will be. If not, then I won't be. But you just got to let me know what's what. Okay, so kind of an interesting reading for you, Aquarius. I hope that it resonated with you in some ways or provided some insights for you. I really wish you nothing but the best. Good luck this month. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next month. Bye.